Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an amazing card game with tons of opportunities to create, mix, and explore different things. But it's also pretty expensive, and dudes don't really have the money for it right now. However, we've set out to do our own sealed only challenge. Although, until we're actually able to buy the cards that we'll need, we'll have to settle with online services, honing and sharpening our skills until we're ready. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Unsealed. Alright, hello humans, Artist with a Fro here, and welcome back to the show. This is episode 8 of Unsealed Only. We're actually doing kind of like a double upload today, so there's going to be a lot of videos coming out. Now, for today's video in particular, we actually have some custom cards that I've made on Dueling Book. All of these cards aren't official, of course, and they may or may not be coming out in the future. This is just my idea of what I feel Senkas need in order to kind of boost them up from their current tier to a much higher tier. I would say where they're at right now, they probably have like tier 2 potential. With some of the cards that I believe that they need, they can probably jump straight from tier 2 to tier 1 or be in the upper echelon, depending. We know that the new ban list just recently came out, so the format is kind of like weird right now. However, everyone's really looking at decks like this, Plunder Patrol. People are digging up their old decks, Dark Magicians, Altergeist, etc., Burning Abyss. Everything's kind of like in preparation of the April format or the new Master Rule 5 that's going to be coming up. So we tried to gear the deck more around that, but we also tried to make sure that they had some other monsters for themselves as well. So before we get started, I just want to thank everybody again, all of the humans that have joined us over the past weeks. Those of you that have liked, comment, and subscribed to all of the videos that we've kind of like been pumping out. It's been a great inspiration, and it's definitely been motivating me to make more content for this channel. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart, and I hope that you guys enjoy as we transition from our unsealed to our sealed only journey in the coming weeks. But without further ado, let's just get started. We have about 5 cards that we're going to go over today, and the cards in particular, I don't know where they went. The cards in particular, let's see if we can open them back up again. Go down here to custom cards. I'll look at my cards. Here we go. We have about 5 cards here. We're going to start off first with the monsters, and then we'll go into the extra deck monsters themselves. So the first card that we have is Senkas Saber, Jahodun, and it is a 5-star fire monster, Beast Warrior, with 1900 attack and 1500 defense. I decided to kind of like make him a little bit less than Zhang Yuan, although he probably would be up there as well, just because we kind of made his effect very similar to Harp Horror, and we know that Harp Horror just recently got banned, so we kind of didn't want to like have a card like this be too powerful. So his effect is pretty simple. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 level 4 Senka monster from your deck, destroy that monster at the end of the turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Senka monsters. You can only use the effect of Senka Saber Jahodun once per turn. So, very self-explanatory. He's a card that you use to set up for and really kind of benefit off of sending a lot of cards to the grave, again using Sun Mo, but he also works with Cao Day, the higher level Senka card that is only going to be able to be special summoned when you destroy an opponent's monster, or rather if you destroy an opponent's card and then you send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. So this is the card that you want to send in the graveyard each time like you have it in your hand. That aside, he is a 5-star monster, so he can be summoned by traditional means, but you're really not going to be using him for most of the stuff. And thankfully, with the other cards that we created, he's not really that easy to summon himself. So he has a fairly good effect, but there are some other cards that we are going to go into, which I think the Senkas definitely need. And we're going to start off first with the one card that I keep saying Senkas need. This is the better version of Zhuge Kong. Do not run Zhuge Kong. It is a waste of time to have that card in your deck. I cannot stress that enough. The card is not that good. And I'll say it again, as I've just been interrupted by my computer. The card is not that good. Now, Senka Rogue Jingba named after Gan Ning. It says you can only control one Senka Rogue Xingba. While you control another Senka monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. That is all they need. Like, they just need one card that says that just says that and has that as its main effect. That's it. Once they get that card, the deck is gonna boost itself up. Like, this is the one card that they need. They literally need one Kizan, and that's it. The second effect that I gave him is kind of a little bit overpowered, but really, it's really just the first thing. All they need is that while you control another Senka monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. That is literally it. Now, his second effect says when a monster effect is activated while you control Senka Intermediary Sunmo. So following the Zhuge Kong thing, where Zhuge Kong has an effect that activates if you have Sunmo, he has an effect that activates if you have, Zhuge Kong activates if you have Liu Xuan. He has an effect that activates if you have Sunmo. He has a quick effect. It says you contribute this card, and if you do, target one Senka monster you control. It can activate its effects twice per turn. You can only use the effect of Senka Rogue Xingba once per turn. So, another great card. Summons himself with himself, basically. It's the card that they need. It honestly is, and I can't stress that enough. The deck is almost there. This is it. They have this, but in the form of Zhang De. And they have Zhang Yuan and Zhuge Kong, but this is the card that they need. If they get something like this in the set that follows after Eternity Code, the deck is tier 1. And then we have the problem, because now we're going to be trying to make this deck, and everybody else and their moms is going to be jumping on it. But who cares? This is the deck. This is the card that they need. Like, this is the card that they honestly need. Oh, I actually exited out, so let's go back to the custom cards again. Let's look at the rest of these. Some of them are kind of just self-explanatory. I'm kind of sad that the image didn't load here. Let's see if we can get the other ones here. Okay, I guess my images aren't loading now. This was Senka Legend Hulao Gate. Once per turn, you can negate the attack of one of your opponent's monsters and send this card to the graveyard during your second end phase after activation. So it's basically your Scrap Iron Scarecrow, but it only stays on the field for 2 turns. It says if this card is sent from the spell and trap card zone to the graveyard, you can special summon one Senka monster from your graveyard. You can only use the effect of Hulao Gate once per turn. If you control 3 or more Senka monsters, you can activate this card from your hand. Very, very self-explanatory. Continuous trap card, an actual good trap card that they would use, and a good card that has a plus that when it is sent from the field to the grave, it special summons a monster. With the only drawback, of course, being the fact that it's a trap, and the secondary thing where it's like if you control 3 or more, you can activate it from your hand. But most people might not even be doing that. Moving on to the other cards, we actually have our first Link monster, the Senka Genius, Sima Yi. He has 2 Beast Warrior monsters on his summoning condition, 21 attack, Link 2. He says neither player can target this card with monster effects, because why not? Because every other freaking Link monster that exists currently, and yes, this is kind of going to be my little rant, I kind of don't like when people say like, oh, but these cards are kind of broken. I'm like, have you seen the current meta? Have you seen half of these decks? Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, or whatever the hell that card is called, is still one of the best cards ever to come out for any single archetype. Like, that card literally summons itself by revealing something, and it has 3,000 attack, and it can destroy 1 card in the field. Like, don't come at me and say, oh, this card is too broken because, you know, it does this. I'm like, half the cards in the game negate something, half the cards in the game let you draw something, half the cards in the game let you do like 20 different types of things. But no, making something like this is a little bit overpowered. Get out of here. Just leave. If you're in that type of boat and you're watching this video, I'm not even gonna apologize. Like that's my rant for that. That aside, let's move on with the rest of his effect. So, when he's special summon, or if this card is special summon, you can send up to 2 cards from your hand, field, or graveyard. And if you do, add that many Senka spell and trap cards from your field or your graveyard to your hand. Also, for the rest of this turn, Senka spell and trap cards can be activated again, regardless of their effects already resolving. So he basically does what Ganjing or Jingba does for monsters. He does that for spells and traps. So you get to activate your 3 visits, you get to activate your Sun Liu Alliance. It makes the spell cards a lot better than just having them on the field just to be sent to the graveyard. Plus he gets them back. So it's a good trade-off in my opinion. And then finally, moving on to our last card, we have the Senka Destroyer, Lu Bu. Now, originally, I did make him a rank 4. But I decided to go against the grain just to make him a little bit more fair. So he's currently a rank 7 monster, 2500 attack, 1200 defense, 2 level 7 Senka monsters. So the only way that you're actually summoning him right now is by having Zhang De and Guan Yun on the field. So he requires you to actually play some cards that aren't really that good, but you can kind of plus off of it in certain ways. Now, his effect says you can detach 2 materials on this card, then target up to 2 level 4 Senka monsters in your graveyard, and special summon them. While you control 3 different Senka monsters, so that's him and the 2 monsters that you're going to summon with his effect, you can target 1 Senka monster except Senka Destroyer Lu Bu, and you can activate its effect. Regardless if it's already been resolved or not, he kind of just gives you the Jingba thing again, with giving you, or rather with allowing you to special summon 2 other Senkas from your graveyard. And reasonable attack, you can summon him again if you have 2 more level 7s. Again, the reason why we limited this was because he was a rank 4, so we were like running the loop again. Like we had him like, all right, you summon 2, summon him, then you link the other 2, summon another one, summon 2, then you link the other 2, and I was just like, all right, that's kind of, I'll stamp it right there where that is kind of broken. But you know, we had to make sure that it was more fair, so we made him a rank 7, and I think his effect is a lot more reasonable now. But that's pretty much going to end it for our custom cards. Again, this is, I keep going back to this. I just really need Senkas to get something like this. The day that they get their Kizan is going to be the day that the deck finally like boosts itself up. Until this day happens, the deck is still going to be, in my opinion, tier 2. There are some changes that we did make currently, which is making the deck a lot faster and a lot more competitively viable. But overall, it's still lacking in certain areas. But that's pretty much going to end it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at all the custom cards. They are currently all uploaded onto Dueling Book, so if you search in, I think, custom, and you look up these types, they'll all come up. So I'll let you guys do whatever you want to do with those. Aside from that, again, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe the videos that are coming out. We are transitioning soon from the unsealed journey into the sealed journey, so make sure you stay around and prepare for that. Ignition Assault comes out in the next 2 weeks, and the sneak peek comes out next Friday, so we'll have a few videos coming up in the upcoming weeks. But aside from that, I've been the Artist with the Fro. That, my friends, is the show, and thank you all again for watching. Take care.